I'm your boogeyman, that's what I am. I'm here to do whatever I can. Be it early morning, late afternoon, or at midnight.
What's going on, everybody? We are super excited to have this guest on right now for the second episode of Fire and Ice podcast. In case you've been living under a rock for the last 20 years and don't know who he is, he was a McDonald's All-American, Louisiana Mr. Basketball. He's Duke starting point guard, national champion, draft pick by the Chicago Bulls, played for our very own New York Knicks. We got Chris Duhon here. Chris, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
No.
Appreciate you guys having me.
Don't worry. Thanks for coming on. Chris, just a little bit of, a little background. I'm Icey. This is the coach, James. Fire and Ice, we try to give our viewers a behind-the-scenes look about what's going on with their favorite athletes, favorite coaches, and whatnot. So, we ask the stuff that they might not see, on television every day. But, we're focused on sports. But obviously, everything that's going on in the world right now, I would be remiss not to mention, the protests and the injustices, as well as COVID that's going on. So I just wanted to, if you had any statements about that, anything you wanted to say before we got into the sports, portion of the program, the floor is yours if you have any thoughts on what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, obviously this is a tough time, for everyone. And a lot of attention has been drawn, obviously, with the loss of George Floyd lately, and a lot of attention there. But we still can also forget, with the pandemic as well. So everyone is hurting right now. But at the same time, these issues that are being brought up is something that, as a black person, as a black man, as myself, and a black father, raising black kids as well, understanding the injustices and the disadvantages that us as a community has gone through over the years. And it sucks to have such a tragedy be a rallying cry for others to be more sympathetic and to hear what we have to say, something that we've been talking about and it's kind of gotten ignored and things like that. But I'm appreciative that people are actually starting to listen. And my only hope and goal is that this thing doesn't just disappear after 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, that we actually sit down and come down with a solution, something that really makes sense. Obviously, we know it's not going to happen right away. It's not going to happen, again, right away. But, as long as that we have serious people willing to make a change and understand and feel, for the Black community. And then again, and also the same thing with the pandemic. Hopefully everyone is being safe and taking this thing seriously. And, and hopefully, we're able to find a cure and to where we can get back to, what we're so accustomed to. So it's obviously a tough time. A lot of emotions are going through, but, we've overcome a lot of things, especially as an American. We've overcome a lot of tragedies and overcome a lot of situations. And, I'm just hoping that we fight, we use each other and we fight together to overcome, these two instances as well.
Absolutely. Well said.
Extremely well said, yeah.
We were preparing for this interview. This is our second ever episode together. We're just starting to get to know each other. This guy tells me that he's a huge Duke fan. He's telling me that Chris Duhon's coming to talk to us. I'm a huge Duke fan. Love you. I used to call you the brilliant mind. So we are officially the biggest Duke podcast on the planet as of today.
Love it.
We are the Cameron Crazies. We got my sister-in-law went to Duke. She's in love with you. She's happy and excited that you're on. And we got to get into Duke. We had a guy named, our guy's name is Icey. He has a picture he needs to show. Show it to him.
We got a little bit of throwback, if you could see that. That's the two of us, circa maybe 2004. So we, like, you didn't even realize, me and you go way back, So we're lifelong friends. Had to bring my friend Chris on the podcast,
Of course,
There's no one outside of one on here.
Now, was that a basketball camp or was that just after a Duke game?
That was Duke basketball camp. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. My dad still speaks about it to this day. He said Coach K ran that like a Swiss Army knife. There was no wasted motion. Nothing.
No. Now, you know, with his military background, that's kind of how everything gets ran over there. Everything's to the point, and, you know, he holds everybody accountable. And, you know, you can see that thing, you know, those camps are ran, you know, on time, sharp, you know, and, you know, they do a really great job of doing it.
Yeah. And, you know, I wasn't old enough at the time, but I have gone back to Duke, and I have, you know, had my fun at shooters and whatnot. I found myself dugging, you know, with Mason Plumlee in the middle, some of the guys. So we definitely had a good time down on Duke's campus.
Good.
So before you got there, you know, Louisiana kid, growing up, what were your aspirations? You know, did you know going into high school that, you know, I'm going to be a major Division I basketball player and ultimately go into the NBA? You know, what was your thought process? We'll get into like the McDonald's, you know, and all the accolades after that. But where was Chris Duhon's head going into high school?
You know, going into high school, you know, my goal was just to get to LSU. You know, growing up in Louisiana, Louisiana is a football state. You know, it's the Saints, LSU Tigers. And then, you know, at the time it was LSU baseball because they were playing, they were pretty much in the Baseball World Series, you know, the last couple of years during that time. So, you know, basketball was kind of put, you know, on the back burner because it wasn't really that popular of a sport, you know, in the state. So, you know, as far as being recruited and things like that, you know, my goal was just to play as well as I could play and hopefully, you know, get a chance to go to LSU. You know, I also played football, you know, so football was kind of, you know, one of pretty much my first love. Like I said, you grew up in Louisiana, free safety.
Let's
free
go.
safety.
I picture you like a Bob Sanders, like hard-hitting free safety, Ed Reed. Yeah.
No, more Ed Reed. I don't know if I was going to hit you hard, but I definitely was going to break on passes and, you know, get deflections and interceptions. So, but, you know, I played in 8th grade, and it was, you know, my mom and I decided, like, you know, before I got to high school, like, to pick one sport and kind of, you know, try to go with that. And so my 8th grade year, I was, you know, that was kind of my plan. And, you know, I was – back then, probably 5'10", a $105, soaking wet with work boots on, playing safety, you know, trying to tackle these big running backs, and ended up breaking my collarbone. And, you know, that kind of made the decision for me. So, you know, after that, I just kind of focused on basketball and, you know, going up through the process, you know, I was fortunate to go to UNO, which Tim Floyd was the head coach at the time. His basketball camp, Perry Clark, who's the head coach at Tulane at the time, I would go to their basketball camps. So, and then I had an amazing high school basketball coach who really laid down the foundations for me as a player, as far as knowing the game, the work ethic, everything like that. So again, going into it was, you know, trying to get to LSU. You know, that was like the ultimate goal. And then, you know, after my sophomore year, you know, was able to get picked up with an Adidas AAU team, the New Orleans Jets at the time. We had Jonathan Bender and Mo Williams, who played with the Cavs and had an NBA career, Ron Dupree. You know, we had a lot of guys on a team that actually made it pro. And that's kind of how my name kind of got out on the national stage.
Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. So Coach K is clearly all three of our idols. I mean, I can safely say it for Icey and I. When he brought you in there to run point guard for one of the most prestigious schools in history, what was the biggest thing you learned about running the point?
I mean, it was pretty much, you know, the leadership qualities of the point guard. And the, you know, as a point guard, it's kind of similar to being the quarterback. You know, you got to know the ins and outs, and that's kind of your responsibility. So, you know, like I said, I was very blessed to have a great high school coach of knowing the game and getting there with Coach K and, you know, having guys like Wojo and Johnny Dawkins and Chris Collins, who's been through the programs and understand what Coach K wants and kind of demands from his point guards. I mean, it just took my basketball IQ and knowledge to a whole nother level, to where, you know, everything mattered. I always knew time, I always knew score, I always knew, when we're going to be in the bonus. I always knew where the possession arrow was. I always knew, all these things in the game that was kind of my responsibility to help, take the pressure off of Coach K. And also because as you see, anytime there's a dead ball situation or, someone's shooting free throws, we always huddle up. So, it was my responsibility in those huddles to remind all the other guys, hey, this is the situation. This guy's hot. This guy's not hot. We got 2 more minutes before there's a TV timeout, or so let's push it through, or, just little things like that, and understanding the game completely. Those are some of the things that I learned from Coach K as far as running the point guard position.
And you mentioned those TV timeouts right there. I know you're caught up in, the chaos of the game, but something, I've been watching Duke games my entire life. Something you will always notice with Duke games, the managers, they book it. The second that the TV time is out, they're full. And I was a college manager myself, humbly the winningest manager in Loyola University, Maryland's history. But that's just something that I always noticed. So was that something that, people joked about, at the end of halftime, they're sprinting back to the locker room? Was that, kind of something that you guys mess with them about, or?
No, I mean, it's like I said, and, obviously we kind of hit on it earlier about how the Duke basketball campus ran. I mean, he expects, everyone to be accountable, from the managers, from the secretaries, from the janitors. It's kind of a big family atmosphere, and he wants to make sure that everybody is important, is treated, and that they know that they're important for the success of the program. So, we would definitely joke, obviously, the ones that were slower. We was like, hey, you better start getting on the treadmill and start getting your ass a little bit faster. You need to cut off 2 seconds on that time before you get in the locker room. But, the managers were just a part and just as important for our success. And, we're friends with a lot of them, still today, if not all of them. And, again, it's just that family culture that was built that, no one was better than the other.
Later on, we're going to get into your coaching aspirations, but I did want to equate kind of like a catcher in baseball to a point guard in basketball, in that they become really good managers or coaches in your situation. And I think that the knowledge that you were instilled from Coach K is going to make you an excellent candidate for any organization, whether it be D1 Division I at a high school or NBA, because I really think that you always had the mindset and the attitude and the calmness to really slow down a game, figure out, okay, we're not going to overwhelm ourselves here, get it into the half. So I think in all those situations, just going to pat you on the back right now. We'll get into it later, but I think that you're going to be an excellent head coach. I really do one day.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. That means a lot. And again, I've been very blessed to have a lot of great coaches that have helped me learn the game of basketball. And like I said, I've mentioned my high school coach, obviously Coach K. Scott Skiles was also great as my development as a point guard and also learning the game in Chicago. The brilliant offensive mind of Mike D'Antoni, being able to play under his system as well. Only for Stan Van Gundy in Orlando, who I really admire and just admire their preparation and attention to details to the game. So I've been very fortunate and blessed to be around a lot of great coaches to help me understand the game of basketball to a completely different level.
Have you seen Stan hoop before? I've seen his handles, but I haven't seen his whole game. Can he ball?
Stan was, he wasn't in the greatest of shape at the time down in Orlando, but, he'll pull out a jump shot here and there and, again, the ball handling skills, but, that came very few moments you'll see that.
he loves showing those off. There's that one clip that they always play. Him and Jeff, they play so funny off each other. So
yeah.
During your time at Duke, you were, an absolute rock star down there. You had a team full of an insane amount of pros from your freshman year to your senior year. Obviously that shows with winning the national championship freshman year. What was the campus like? It's obviously, a very small campus. There's not a lot of students, but what was it like being a student athlete at such a prestigious basketball school that at the same time still, to me, seems like it has the small town feel, small college feel?
Yeah, I mean, it was really a small college feel. The campus was awesome. You really uh, didn't really feel it as far as like the energy and everything from all the students right until after Christmas. So once Christmas started, knowing that we're going to get in the ACC play, then that's kind of when you really feel like the energy, the excitement around campus of knowing that we have a team that has a chance to win a national championship. And we always felt that the ACC was the best conference in America. So we're going to be playing against the best competition, all the time. So, it was fun, and I commend, the students there at Duke. Like even though at times you can feel like a rock star, they also kind of had a gauge to kind of, leave you along and let you be, and let you be a student as well. Because, as much as people would like to say that, hey, you're an athlete, people are going to give you handouts. Duke is prestigious, for academics for a reason. And we had to go and meet the same deadlines just like every other student, no matter if we had a game on Thursday or Friday or whatever, or had to miss a day because of a road game. Like, so I think being in that atmosphere, helped you learn how to develop more life skills, being able to go and talk to your teachers, talk to your TA, let them know, because what we had to do before every season, the first day of class, we gave our teacher our schedule, the days that were going to be missed. And if we missed any of their days, they could email kind of our academic advisor, our Duke academic advisor, and let them know. Obviously it was their choice, but learning those type of skills helps you, develop you for things later on in life. And, the campus was great. And then, that whole area is awesome just because I think there's like, 30, 40 schools in like a 25-mile radius. So, you didn't necessarily just have to be on Duke's campus. You can go and mingle and be out in the community and meet other folks as well.
If you had to pick one Duke teammate to go in the foxhole with, to play 2-on-2 against somebody in your prime there, who would it be?
Ooh, 202 foxhole. Oh, that's tough. That's tough. I mean, I'd probably have to go Shane and Jay Will. I mean, I have them both tied. At one. I mean, JJ's right there. Sheldon's right there. Luke. I mean, I had a lot of great teammates.
Yeah, it's an embarrassment of riches. That's an embarrassment of riches right there.
But I've seen Jay Will kind of turn it on when he has to turn it on, and I know how much of a competitor he is, and how much winning is important to him. So I know he would do whatever it takes to win. So I'll go with Jay Will and Shane for sure.
All right, what is it like to get drafted to the NBA? What was that day like? Take me through it. I mean, what was your favorite part of the day? What did you eat? What did you wear? What the whole shebang?
It was kind of a little nervousness for real. Because at the time I was projected late first round, second round. So the uncertainty of not knowing, when you're going to get drafted. I mean, I think I worked out for like 17 teams. So, didn't really have a feel for, which team liked me, which team didn't. So, kind of when it got to around 20, you kind of got nervous. I was just at my high school coach's house with family. We were just, all sitting there together watching the draft, enjoying each other's company. And, then when my name got called, which I did not expect the Chicago Bulls to draft me at all. That was actually my first workout, and I felt that was my worst workout just because it was the first one. I didn't know what to expect. There was a lot of nervousness going on, and I didn't think I performed to the highest level. So I was really shocked when they came up because I had feedback. I want to believe Toronto had the next pick after that. So that's actually where I thought I was going to be going, was Toronto, because I had really great feedback from Toronto from their manager staff, managerial staff. So, but then, just hearing your name and then going to a franchise like Chicago, I mean, obviously you was really excited, but, also, knew the reality of it was that, I was a second round pick. So, everything wasn't guaranteed. So I still had to do a lot of fighting and working to earn my spot and my position on the Chicago Bulls team and roster.
What was Chicago like? Obviously people immediately equate it with Michael Jordan. So what were the expectations like going in, and how was the overall experience in Chicago? It's obviously a major city. So what was that like up there?
You know what? I mean, the expectations was they didn't know. I mean, I want to say the last, 6 years, Chicago had a losing record. They were just coming off a losing record. They, fired Bill Cartwright towards the end of the year before. And then that's when they hired Scott Skiles. So, I think the expectation was unknown. I think we had 5 rookies on that team with, Luol, Ben Gordon, myself, Jared Reiner, center out of Iowa, Andres Nocioni, who they picked up free agency, or undrafted free agent, out of Argentina. So there was a lot of unknown. And we still had, obviously Kirk Heinrich and, Eddie Curry, Tyson Chandler, who both came out of high school. So I'm older than them, and this is their 4th year in the league. Oh, and we had some great vets with Adrian Griffin and Antonio Davis, Eric Piatkowski. And, I just think Scott Skiles kind of set the tone early of what type of team we're going to be and developed our identity. And the town loved it because, we were still being sold out, even though we started off 0-9. They were still coming, but they appreciated that, we played hard. And I think it was something that they were missing. And they could just kind of feel that, that we're a really young team. And that once we figured it out, that, it was going to be something exciting. So, I mean, it was great. The energy in the city was amazing. The city itself is awesome. I mean, there's, so much to do there. And, although even though it's cold, you still kind of find ways to still enjoy the city at times. And it's a sports town. It's a very sports town. So they're diehards, win, lose, or draw. As long as you're going out there giving the effort and you're competing, they're going to love you and they're going to support you. When
was the first time you met Michael?
I met him actually probably going into my 2nd year. I worked out with his trainer, Tim Grover. So he would come down in the summers from time to time just to pop in, and he would play from time to time as well. So, that was the first time I met him. And we actually were on the same team playing pickup together. And, he still was the best player on the court, even at his age at that time.
Wow.
So were there more butterflies playing with MJ or playing with Obama? I believe Reggie Love was one of your groomsmen. Obviously, he's Obama's right-hand man, another Chicago guy. So we're sticking in Chicago right now. What was it like?
Yeah.
Rock? Was it Secret Service? You have to not touch him. Can he actually hoop?
Oh yeah. I mean that's what you were worried about because you saw the Secret Service like around the court. So, you kind of was worried about. Hey, I better not, elbow this guy, or if he has a layup, I might have to let him go. There wasn't no layup, no Jordan rules like Obama rules. There was no Obama rules right there. So it was pretty much, he get the layup. But the flip side of it is that he talks trash.
Really?
So he was talking trash. Yeah, he talks trash. So then
that's
go
incredible.
from. How do you find a medium? Because, as a competitor, you start talking trash, that's going to make you amp your game up a lot too. So, he made it fun. It was a fun environment. We enjoyed it. And just getting the opportunity to play with them. And then also, obviously, just talking to him just about life afterwards was an amazing experience.
And where did this take place? What gym was this in?
So there was a sports club. I forgot the name of it. It is River North. I don't know how familiar you guys are with Chicago.
It's obviously,
I forgot the name of the sports club.
He can't say the answer to that. It's Obama. Come on. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
You want to give away that information?
I apologize.
Speaking of location.
It was downtown Chicago.
We are from Tarrytown, Irvington area, so we are right next to the practice facility. Let's get into the Knicks stuff because I am a diehard Knicks fan that screams at the game when we're losing by 25. I'll scream, "Let's go Yankees." I don't care what's going on there, because it's been kind of an embarrassment. I'm just going to say it. The record, I mean, we stink right now, and Icey's our Knicks guy, so he'll be the most positive guy in the room about the New York Knicks.
I'm going to say how we're going to turn it around, but Coach, keep going.
Yeah. I haven't been happy about a team since God knows when. The head coaching, don't even get me started. The top, the management, from all the way to the top, and I'm not going to get into it because Icey's gonna try to spin this any way he wants to spin it. But we need change, and I think that I'm going to throw your hat in the ring for the New York Knicks job because I want Chris Duhon coaching, learning from Skiles and Coach K, the greatest coach in the world, coaching my team right now because I'm pissed off.
I'm co-signing that. I'm co-signing that.
Oh man, I appreciate it. Honestly, I don't think I'm ready for that as well.
Oh, come on, that's a layup.
I'm still learning as a coach, man. I'm still learning as a coach. There's a lot of different. It's different. Being a player, I already know how tough it is to manage personalities and egos, and then the players have the power. For the most part, players have. So now being a coach and trying to put those egos together. I think there's a lot of guys that are more qualified. I mean, I would love to be an assistant so I can learn, and maybe in 5 to 10 years, then that would be something. But
what about this?
Now I'm just seeking.
What about this? We get Patrick, we get Becky, and we get you, and we run the dream team. Everybody knows about New York. We got the New York dream team coming together. Yeah. I mean, how could we lose there? You can coach the O, you can coach the D, you can do it all. And Patrick's clearly he needs to win. You know what he would want to do for this city right now? I think that's a dream team. I think we got it right there.
Yeah, I mean, I think the problem with New York is one that we lost our identity. We had an identity in the 90s, and it just kind of got lost. And it's been kind of a shuffle of who the Knicks are. 1 year they're this way, 1 year they're that way. Like you said, there are so many coaches changes, so many players in and out. The need to at least have a star, I guess, to draw people and just kind of make it more entertainment and actually focusing on winning basketball games. So, I mean, I think, whoever they hire next, they need to kind of commit to and help form an identity, have the New York Knicks identity back. And then now you start to really draft guys and bring in guys who fit that identity.
And so, Chris, talk to us about your time in New York. Obviously, it's the Mecca. I know, the Knicks are your favorite team of all time, like it is ours, and like the thing that stands out to me, I'm sorry because I get so pumped when I think about it because, it's combining my Duke love, my Knicks love. And you said Scott Skiles before, and I'm thinking, the 22 assist game. Was that the highlight of your Knicks career?
Oh yeah, it was one of it. I mean, it was. We were playing Golden State at the time. Donnie Nelson was the coach there, so they played like us. So we already knew it was going to be a track meet. There was going to be not much defense being played. So it was the first one, the 140 was going to win. That was kind of what we had going on. But it was just one of those things. Everything kind of just fell into play. I mean, David and I kind of set the tone with the pick and roll, and we were able to kind of get what we want there. And then, Al Harrington started playing well. And then, Q and all these guys were making shots. So it just kind of was like the perfect storm, and the game was going, back and forth. So there was going to be a lot of possessions and a lot of opportunities. And, it was fun to be a part of. And it was fun for me because it was during the holidays. So I had family in town. So it was great for them to be able to come, to Madison Square Garden to watch a game, but also to watch me play and be able to have a type of game like that in front of them also made it special as well.
When you say Al Harrington, the first thing I think of is my name is Al Harrington and I get buckets. The guy was a certified bucket.
Yeah. Al's a great dude. I mean, I enjoyed my time in New York. I think, we were kind of in a tough situation because obviously when I signed there, their main focus was trying to get LeBron in 2 years. It wasn't like LeBron was a free agent the next year. It was 2 years.
Oh, that killed us. Killed us.
So it was a lot of trades and stuff being, happening to try to get below the salary cap, and just kind of a lot of distractions, and it wasn't really the main focus of playing basketball, and which was kind of tough, because one day you didn't know if you was going to be the next guy out, just because they're trying to save money to bring in LeBron or sell a pitch for LeBron to get in. So it was a little frustrating, but at the same time, I mean, New York was awesome. My teammates were awesome. So I had a great time and a great experience.
Did you live in the city?
No, I live closer to practice facility.
Hey, come on. He's still asking where he is. Icey wants to know. Icey wants to know where you're at. He wants to take another picture with you, clearly. I just want to win basketball games. I really just want to win basketball games. Enough is enough. Yeah. This team is pathetic right now. But you did mention LeBron James, who I have a hate-love relationship now. I respect the hell out of him now. Back then, I was a younger guy, frustrated with his intentions to just say that he was going to go out and be this guy. But now you're seeing what he's doing. It's like, well, it was kind of genius. You were over in LA, and you played with Kobe Bryant. I want to know about, it was terrible. Everything that happened, such a shame. Like, horrible, horrible, horrible thing that happened. But everyone always talked about this guy's work ethic and what he believed in. And I got to ask you, what time was he actually in the gym? What time was Kobe actually in the gym?
I mean, the question is like, who knows? Because he's one of those guys who, if he wakes up at 3 o'clock in the morning, he'll be there at 3:30, 4 o'clock. And then he'll go home and do family stuff. And then, if we had practice was at 10, he'll be there back at 7:30. So he, his work ethic is not a fairy tale. It's not something to try to make him bigger than what he was. It's the truth. He worked hard, every single day. He worked on his body every single day. He studied the game, and it was amazing to watch greatness and be a part of greatness. I mean, he was very attention to detail, and one of the smartest players that I've ever been around. And again, it was just an honor to be able to watch and learn and just see greatness, at the highest level.
Yeah. I mean, everything that happened was such a tragedy.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into your coaching. Now we're gonna have questions for from Coach and Icey. All right, what is your favorite defensive scheme? We going full court? We going half court trap? We running the 2-3? What are we doing?
So if I had the perfect storm, I would like to go full court. That's kind of, I kind of want an up-tempo style game. But obviously you got to have the players that are capable of doing it. But defensively would definitely be, my main priority. Making sure we get back in transition and, then protect the goal. And, I want to apply pressure. I want to put guys in tough situations. I want us to, get out in transition and score. I want to dominate the transition game offensively and defensively. So yeah, if I had the right guys, definitely, want to be able to pick up full court, mixing some traps here, but, at the same time, still be disciplined. I mean, you can still apply pressure, but still have a great amount of discipline to where you're not just giving up, easy baskets here or there, gambling, doing too much gambling and things like that. So, that would be my preference.
I just had a vision. It's 60 years from now. It's 2026. We're guarded. You're coaching. The whole team is picking up full court, man. We're slapping the ground. Me and James are there going nuts in the crowd. By then, this podcast will have taken off. We're sitting courtside. We're going nuts, and we're getting ready for a championship.
I love it. I love that vision.
But
that'll be great.
Chris, I know you worked with the New York Renaissance, a great AAU program. What are your thoughts on AAU overall? I know it's changed a lot of the game, and people said it's negatively affected it. I want to hear about what you think, and also like the idea of the isolation basketball now and less cutting off the ball, because a lot of people are out to get theirs in AAU from I go to watch the high level circuits in New York. So I just want to know your thoughts there.
Yeah, I think we're in a way losing the players having better basketball IQ. Because has become kind of a ISO. This is ball handling, gotta cross you over, step back type of game. Which the game is going to. You can kind of see that in the NBA, and that's who these kids are modeling. I think what was beneficial for me in my era was that there were a lot of basketball camps that taught you the fundamentals of the game. You had the 5-star camp, which although you did play pickup and things like that, but there throughout the whole day you're learning how to do a layup, how to dribble. You had seminars and guys come in and talk like Hubie Brown, talk about the game and talk about defense and, how to be in a stance and help side defense. And I think, we're missing the opportunity to continue to grow the game and continue to grow these players at a young age. Because right now, I think this ranking system, especially like now, you're telling me, you could tell me who's the best 7th grader in the country right now. Like,
and he's
now
probably got 1 million followers too. Yeah. On Instagram. That's the other.
Like now you're adding so much pressure to a kid that's supposed to still be learning how to be a kid.
Yeah.
And, and just enjoying basketball and just trying to soak up as much knowledge as possible. And now, a lot of these kids, that's all they're worried about. They're worried about, who's number 1 and who's number 2 and, what's the quickest way to do these things. And, so I think in that aspect, I think they need to add more, teaching the game, as far as on offensively and defensively, and just so guys can have a better and higher IQ. And I think that would also help, guys evaluating them to understand who they're getting. What type of players you're getting. Because I think right now you're getting a lot of guys just kind of rolling the dice that hopefully, he does pan out and hopefully not. And then, obviously you can see that with how so many people are transferring from college. Coaches are selecting guys and, they're thinking that they're going to play right away, and that doesn't pan out because, they're probably not at the level that they need to be at that they thought they were, but they're not there. So they want to transfer and go somewhere else to someone that's going to give them, I guess the key word, give them the opportunity to play instead of them really honing that in their skills, taking in, okay, this is what I got to get better at. And let me work on those things. Now it's more about, well, I got to show what I got to do right here, right now.
Right.
And, that's just kind of where the game is kind of going right now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. I got to ask you the question. I hate to do it. I honestly really hate to do it. You go to a Yankees game, you walk into the Bronx, you're watching it, you're sitting down there with Jay, Will, Shane, whoever's with you. They order 3 hot dogs. What are you putting on that hot dog? This is called What's on the Hot Dog?
On the hot dog, for me, it got to be chili.
Let's go.
Cheese,
Chili.
and ketchup.
Let's go. That's a hot dog.
Mustard every now and
That
then.
is a hot
Every
dog.
now and then.
My co-host likes just ketchup, like I don't know. I don't know.
No.
Come on. What's
Gotta
on a
put
hot
chili,
dog? I
some
love
cheese.
that.
Yeah, definitely.
It's tough because when we go to games, James does a lucky hot dog before every game, before any Knicks game, Yankee game, anything. So I'm there with him. This guy can put a hot dog down in 3 seconds. So I just have to go minimal. I have to go just ketchup. So I'm not throwing up by the time I get into the arena.
Right.
Yeah, and I do have to say he did hook me up with beautiful seats that night, so I do have to thank him for that. And obviously, anytime you're in the city, you want to go to a game with us, we'd be more than happy to have you. Ice, you have any last questions for Chris?
I have one last thing that I didn't get a chance to touch on before. Your current position, as a leading candidate, the NBA coaches program, assistant coaches program. What is that like? And what do you feel like you're learning? You've obviously played forever. You've played under every single type of coach. But what do you think that's doing for you right now as you're getting ready to make the next step?
Well, I mean, I think it's really teaching you how to, become a coach. A lot of people assume just because you played the game, then you know how to teach the game and you know how to coach the game, which is definitely not true. And in the NBA and or wherever, a lot of guys actually are reluctant to hire, former players, just because, that's pretty much all they can do is kind of be a player development guy. So with this program is giving everyone, all the candidates, the tools to become a complete coach. So we're learning about analytics. We're learning about all the software that's needed that NBA or all coaches of coaching programs use, as far as fast draw, fast scout, synergy, sports code, learning how to break down film, learning how to present in front of a team, learning how to break down and do scouting reports, learning how to interview. We've been kind of in a blessed position to where you kind of walk in a room and someone knows, they just know who you are.
Yeah.
But now you're competing against guys that may have not played, but coaching has kind of been what they've been doing. So they've already have a head start as far as, because they could do multiple roles. And I think the beauty of being in this program is that now, I'm more versatile. I'm not just a basketball guy that can do things that's on the court. If I need to be the video coordinator, I can be the video coordinator, and I can also do the court. I also know how to be an assistant coach, and how to give ideas to my head coach, and what to look for. And again, learning the analytic part of the game as well, is just making me a more well-rounded coach. And I'm very thankful that I'm able to be in this program, and I'm just trying to learn as much as possible. But it is definitely giving me the confidence, because I feel that I can do multiple roles, and I'm at the same time still continuing to learn more and more about the game of basketball.
And that's what I was going to say. I was going to say, coming from a guy with a lot of confidence, have that confidence in yourself, because honestly, I've seen it on the court. I know how knowledgeable you are. You're breaking down film now. There aren't a lot of guys that can do everything. And when you can do everything, and you know how to be the field general for that position and that position, there's no doubt in my mind that you will be an NBA head coach. Zero doubt. You are a disciple of Coach K, Scott Skiles. Nobody's better than Chris Duhon. It's officially a Chris Duhon podcast. Chris, thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you for coming on. Any final words?
Oh, man, thank you guys for having me. I'll definitely be tuning in. I think you guys are great. I think what you got here is awesome. So, same thing like I'm doing. You guys continue to keep learning and keep getting better and better with each podcast. And just know that you have a supporter here.
We appreciate you so much. And what we say on the end of the thing, and we got to send you some hoodies and joggers and T-shirts, all that swag up. But we end every interview with thesportschill.com. Fire, fire, fire.